Hi, I'm Father Darren Santo Tomas.
Father Darren, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So, I was ordained in the year 2020, and as many of you know, that was a very hard year, a very difficult year, especially with the coronavirus happening. My ordination had 60 people at the cathedral, and because of that, I was unable to partake of the many celebrations that normally occur in that time. As you can tell, maybe some of you can tell I don't look like a native from New Jersey necessarily. I actually come from the island of Guam, which is in the middle of the Pacific, and I've done my formation here in the seminary at Redemptoris Mater in Kearney for the past few years, and have been ordained for the Archdiocese of Newark, and I'm very happy to serve the people of Newark, and in particular the people here and the parishioners of St. Catherine's in Glen Rock.
What brought you over from Guam?
It's very interesting. Many people think you send missionaries to exotic places, and the opposite happened here. Somehow the person from the islands came to the US, and this happened because in the Archdiocese of Newark, we actually have three seminaries. We have a college seminary, St. Andrews. We have the diocesan seminary, which is Immaculate Conception. And we have a diocesan missionary seminary, which is the Redemptoris Mater Seminary located in Kearney, New Jersey. And when I was sent to the seminary, it actually happens that if you avail yourself to be a missionary, you need to avail yourself to any location. And they asked me to go to New Jersey. They didn't send me to India or Africa, but a mission is a mission, and to serve the people of God in one place is to serve them everywhere. And so that is what brought me to New Jersey.
When did you think you wanted to become a priest?
So maybe some of you may be thinking that because I'm a priest in my 30s, that maybe I've been thinking about the priesthood for quite a while. It's actually quite the contrary. I first felt the vocation at the age of 19. And as many of you know, I recently came back from a pilgrimage to the Holy Land. And I'm a big supporter of pilgrimages because also pilgrimages support vocations. And it was in a pilgrimage that I went, not to the Holy Land, but to Australia, the land down under, in a meeting with Pope Benedict at a World Youth Day in 2008, which is where I first experienced the vocation and had the courage to answer it, and with the help of my parish priest to discern this vocation that the Lord has called me to. And 12 years later, I find myself here at St. Catherine's.
Father Darren, how long did it take you to become a priest?
Normally the seminary, it depends. At Immaculate Conception, the duration to become a priest can last between 6 to 8 or 9 years. At the Redemptoris Mater Seminary, because it's not just diocesan but also missionary, they add an additional 3 years of formation of missionary work. So you take the 6, 7, or 8 years and add another 2 to 3 years on top of that. So my entire time of formation in the seminary was 11 years. Because of those 3 years I did on mission. And I didn't go to Africa or India as maybe I had hoped originally, but places where I got to experience the different realities of the church. For example, I went to Buffalo, New York. I went to Bermuda. I went to the Diocese of Denver, Colorado, to see the way the church acts in different places. And in this way, I think it helps and builds me up to be a better priest for you guys today.
Will you always be assigned to church in the Newark Archdiocese?
I serve the Church of Newark, but at the same time, the Cardinal at any moment can release me to serve not just the local church, but serve the universal church. Okay. So if there are any dioceses, maybe in Michigan or maybe in Lithuania, that may have a lackage of clergy, the Cardinal, in his discernment, may send me there at any given moment.
What are you excited about doing while you're here at St. Catherine's?
To be with the youth is definitely a gift that the Lord has given me. Also, I have liked the opportunity of being with the altar servers, and also to be with the Legion of Mary, to be with different groups, to have an exposure, because the church isn't just one thing. It's a collection of many different realities which come to announce Jesus Christ in its fullness. So I like to see the many different parts. In that way, I can really see the fullness of the reality of the Catholic Church.
I know I can talk to you when I need to, but do you have someone you can talk to when you need to?
So as priests, as much as we live alone, we are a society. We're a brotherhood. We're a fraternity. So especially as a young priest, I make it my mission or my obligation. I force myself to come out of myself to make sure that I do call a brother, or I do call another priest, or that, maybe for whatever reason, this priest is alone and he wants to hang out, then I'll go and be at the parish and, we'll watch an episode of Family Feud together. Just those little moments of fraternity, of brotherhood, of support, because definitely, especially, and I think as COVID has showed us, more support the better. Also, as a priest, as much as I am a confessor to many of you and a priest for you, also I need that for myself. So as a priest, we have learned in the seminary that we should always have a confessor, and on top of that to have a spiritual director, because also we have our own spiritual life that we are going through, and in order to help you, we also need to be helped. So in the same way that Christ helps you through me, I have someone acting in persona Christi to help me with the difficulties that I go through and the struggles that I go through, to help you to help myself to be a better priest for the parish.
Can you tell us about your trip to the Holy Land last summer?
So my trip to the Holy Land began in Egypt. We started in Cairo, and although the pilgrimage was towards the Holy Land, I believe what touched me the most was actually climbing Mount Sinai. And if you look in the book of Exodus, it's very simple. Moses climbed the mountain and he stayed there 40 days. But that mountain was tough. Once I reached the summit, all I could see was the amazement of creation. And we arrived right before sunrise. We saw the sunrise, and on top of the mountain, they had asked us, they said, don't just make this a tourist event. They say on the mountain, God gave the law to Moses. So ask God on the mountain to write that law in your heart. Ask God to really put into your heart, a love for him and a love for your neighbors. And so on that mountain, despite the huffing and puffing and my wet garments, the Lord really made me forget all of that, and I truly enjoyed climbing up Mount Sinai at the end of the day.
What do you like to do in your free time?
I do like going to concerts. I do like hanging out with my parish friends and my family. I do like going to certain game events. Maybe I might go with Father Dominic one day to a baseball game, or you can catch me also playing volleyball with some friends. So certain things I like to do. I especially love to hang out with the youth. So you can catch me at the youth group or with the youth of St. Catherine's, definitely at some of the events around here.
Okay.
Yeah, so who's your favorite baseball team? The Mets? or the Yankees?
Go Mets.